Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah, in this life, I wanna be soaring to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
About an hour or so south and west of Chicago, Illinois, is a racetrack with an IKEA in the background, right there. It is called Chicagoland Speedway. As we get ready to go racing, it's round number 2 on a Friday night of ARCA, or now Gen 4. There's my first mess up. Gen 4 Racing Cup Series, live here on the Captain Esports Network, as we get ready to rock and roll for 200 miles tonight here in Joliet. I am the captain. We welcome you into Chicagoland. And after a wild Friday night that has everybody following the law, if you know what I mean, will we do it again tonight? Or will we see a second winner in 2 races? Got 35 cars at least right now lined up, ready to rock and roll here from Chicagoland. The points, well, they're pretty straightforward here. Obviously, where you finished in the race last week, that's kind of where you're sitting at. And Leslie Law, after his win in Daytona, Spirit of Daytona Racing, he has got a 4-point lead over Casey Carrington, Mike Hamlin, Whitley, and pretty much straight on down. How you finish is where you are in the points. Of course, after 1 week in Spirit of Daytona, well, they're off to a pretty big start. 19-point lead over, yes, that is a true name, BS Incorporated, and it's not Bottom Split. That's their actual name. TI Racing third, PTP, and CX Squared in top 5, and we're going to have a really tight battle, I think, for the points of the season. So we're going to keep track of team points and where we sit entering this race. And then finally, the rookie in the manufacturer standings. As we get into qualifying here, you see Chevy with the small lead over Dodge, and Leslie Law, obviously, with his win over Mike Hamlin right now in those points. As here we go down to the track as qualifying begins, as we work on the MHD Pole Award. They will get the usual 2 laps of qualifying here. And that is Austin Bloom, one of the BS guys. He's the B, obviously. That does not mean I'm calling the other guy the S. Just go ahead and get that clarified right now. Of course, the purple means they're on a quick lap. The green is faster. The yellow means not so fast, but everybody should be green, except for Mark Whitley. I think he's going to be the rabbit, if you will, as he posts quick time. J.W. Miller jumps him just like that. Austin Bloom, P2, but I think the second lap's going to be quicker. Let's see how it all rolls. A lot of cars out running laps right now. Nobody's going to go home. Let's check in on last week's winner. The Dunkin' Donuts number 27 on track as Finley Fitzsimmons goes up 30.45 for him. Whitley at 30.54 is P2. Kyle Hall goes up to P6. A lot of times turning in here. I see purple on Zach Henry. As Henry goes P2. 30.45 tied with Fitzsimmons. And I see a 30.46 actually on my timing and scoring for Henry. That means the 1,000ths was slower. Barkuski up to P3. Times are clicking off pretty quickly here. I'm trying to get to people and they're just moving around. There's Leslie as he crosses the line. 22nd, 30.85. Bonoski up to 16th. Couple guys playing the later game here to see if they get a cloud. And I think one of them is going to be Matthew Weeks. I think Stephen Miles is one. Here he is crossing the line. Not a lot of off-throttle time. Rolls the bottom as Christopher Heller goes to 5th fastest. You're watching the broadcast right now. It's your chance to go get some friends and family members as we get ready to go 200 miles of racing. As Miles goes purple last second, 30.44. He must have got a cloud. Let's go Matthew Weeks. That was not a cheer. That was more let's go to Matthew Weeks. As Weeks crosses the line, that was lap 1, 30.79. Goes topside for lap 2 here. Down into turn 3 and 4, a little bump right there, and then another bump coming off the exit here. But that car looks really smooth. It's in the green, gonna go purple right here. Carrington just went purple. And to the top goes the 9, 30.39. Trying to go 2 for 2. Colby Sutphin is in purple. As he goes P2 at a 30.40. So that cloud, whatever it is, has knocked the track temp down and is playing a role in qualifying here. Nick Sargent probably going to be the last one to get a lap in here. His qualifying's about that. He might not get to the line. 1 second. Crosses the... Nope, he didn't do it. He's going to be cussing. Qualifying over, Casey Carrington for the second straight week. Going to be on the MHD Pole Awards. Congratulations to Casey on winning the pole. As we get the 5-minute warm-up here underway, we'll talk to our pole award winner here real quick before we jump down to the track and show you where I feel is going to be an important part of the races. Carrington, are you Tyler Dalton this season? Winning a second pole in 2 races.
Yeah, that's that was a surprise, especially because I got tight coming off of 4. I lost about half a tenth, so yeah, I guess I would have embarrassed some of the guys had I not messed up turn 4. But that's a surprise, but a pleasant one.
I didn't get a chance to obviously see the weather there. Was there a cloud that came over at the end there?
Maybe. Track temp was 106 when the session started, or when qualifying started, and it's 105 now, so that might help me out a little bit too. I just, with it being in the afternoon, I was trying to kind of wait and hope for a cloud. I saw it was partly cloudy, so yeah, I think just all the stars aligned, and for I think only the second time in week history I've won a pole at a track where you don't hold it wide open all the way around.
Yeah, that's a good start. And obviously now, how do you back it up like you did last week?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna drop back here at the start. I don't want to, I'm not trying to lead every lap. Usually it doesn't work out well for me. So the last time I won a pole at a non-restricted point track, I ended up burning my tires off and I think finishing a lap down. So just gonna try to chill. I know I've got the pace, obviously, so no reason not to be patient and just kind of hang out and be there at the end. But big shout out to obviously the Dodge horsepower there that helped me get the pole, and shout out to MH Designs, Mike Husby with the pole award. Hopefully he'll be here next week. I know he had to miss again this week, but shout out to everybody watching too.
There you go. Well, great job. Congratulations on your second pole of the season. And yeah, let's go see if we can turn it into a win now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Absolutely. As Casey Carrington on the pole here this evening for the Orange Juice 200. I got nothing.
Gulp, gulp.
Orange, you glad that he called it that. Anyways, all right, to his channel he goes. All right, let's get out here on track for a second here. All right, last week we talked about Daytona. We talked about the entrance to pit road and how big of a role it played, and boy, did it. We had issues galore out there on the track. Tonight, though, pit road's not going to be, well, I mean, pit road could play an issue. However, there's always been a part of this track that bites somebody. Don't worry, they're going to go through me. They don't even know I'm on track unless they're watching. Hi, Matt. I want to go down here to turn 3. And I want you to notice right here. Notice how the backstretch is curved? It's one of the interesting things about this track. So we're going to turn the car around now. And we're going to slide her up the banking here. And we'll try to hit the wall here. All right, so we're going to go backwards now. Don't worry, they can't see me, like I said. All right, so right here. See that where the brand is solid red and then it turns to white and red? That is where the safer barrier begins coming into turn 3. A lot of cars are going to run up here on the top side tonight. And when they do, they're going to misjudge the corner. And that wall is going to poke out. And you're going to see the cars get stuck to the wall right there. And I don't mean stuck as in like they instantly stop. But it's literally going to slide up against the outside wall. And it could cause a wreck. It could cause somebody to get down into another car or get stuck up there, like I said. So that is going to be a major point here in tonight's race. Is right here is Casey. Hello. I think you did that purposely. Hello, Matt. And yeah, so I think I have a minute here. So let's real quickly spin her back around. And let's, yeah, I have some experience of doing this, by the way. Let's get on the, I'm going to run a lap here around Chicago. Hopefully I don't wreck it because I didn't practice at all. Right? I don't know who Harrington Ma 11. That's a pretty cool name. All right, so we go down the front straightaway here, obviously. I'm just not even going to try to go turn 1 here. Top groove's going to become the dominant one. All right, so we're going to think in our heads here. There's cars to my inside right now, and I'm at the top. There's a car in front of me. All right, I misjudged the corner. Watch what happens here. All of a sudden, bam, I wreck because of it. So that's where I'm trying to point out that wall tonight, when you got a car in front of you, you're not going to be able to see. So, and with the curve, obviously, there's going to be issues. And then, of course, this right here is going to be another issue, is getting down to pit speed, 50 mile an hour. And thankfully, you don't have a big jam up on pit road like you usually do. So, there you go. In-car analysis from a guy that, well, hasn't won many races in his life, but wants to give you guys what you need to know about the race itself tonight. So, we're calling turn 3 and 4 the corner that could be some troublesome to some of the drivers here this evening. As we come to the grid, let's take a look at the starting lineup here for the Orange Juice 200. That's the wrong button, Scala. As Casey Carrington on the pole, 30.390. We'll start alongside Colby Sutphin. A great lap for the 24. And see if he can back that up here and go to victory lane maybe here tonight. Row number 2, Stephen Miles, Finley Fitzsimmons. Zach Henry there in the 39 car. Josh Dillon, as we like to call him. We'll start there on the outside of row 3. Brandon Barkuski returning tonight in the 25 car. He'll start next to his teammate there in Christopher Heller. Brad Delph, Mark Whitley there in the 10th position. Shane Kirby and J.W. Miller will start in the 12th position this evening, as the cars will roll off for their one and lonely pace car lap. Tyler Bird and Matthew Weeks. Weeks should be a pretty good one to watch tonight. Starts 14th. Kyle Ethier, Austin Bloom, Nick Leo. There's Mike Hamlin, who finished 3rd last week in Daytona. Jordan Owens, Jared Bundy, Kyle Hall, and Chris Lewis will take row number 11, row 12. Jake Fanoski and Dalton Wilson. Jonathan Smith, Drayton Cook, row 13, row 14. Jacob Locklear, Craig Martin. Nick Terrell, and your Daytona winner, Leslie Law, starting there in the 30th position. Eric Schur, who is in the race actually tonight, not subbing for somebody as far as I know. Quentin Sutphin and Thomas Stanley and Carson George, the 35 starters that will take the green here tonight. Race information: 78 degrees, 38% humidity, partly cloudy skies. 9-mile-an-hour winds there. Is 134 laps tonight, 200 miles or 2 hours, in case there's cautions. Just in case, make sure you give a follow, by the way, to the All-American Cup Series. They are on Facebook. Track temp at 98, probably going to stabilize and then maybe drop as we get later on into this race. As per usual, the cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and in the iRacing forums at TrackCams22.com. And coming up here in a little bit, a big announcement. Surprise! As we come to the green, Chicagoland, the Orange Juice 200. A lot of concentration here tonight. Oh, Finley! I did a wall hard! The 8 involved in a bunch of cars, and I don't know why Finley's car updated back. Anyways, the 81 involved. 72 up. There's Daytona's winner, the 27. Big wreck over here in 1. Finley's already jumped to the pits. A lot of damage on a lot of cars here. Let's see if we can get a replay. Some reason Finley's car changed. Goes down to turn 1, and the back end just comes around. Unfortunately, the 8 of Christopher Heller, nowhere to go. Josh Dillon gets around. And then other cars just come in from the backside. 28 there. The 81, Nick Terrell. The 72. And half the field here in this wreck, unfortunately. On board Craig Martin. Looks like the 28 and 72 got together. Martin gets tagged, and he smashes into somebody there. Let's go on board with Nick Sargent here in the 42. Oh, no. And he gets hit from behind, too, by somebody. 31 involved of Drayton Cook. A lot of cars coming to pit road. Trying to get some damage fixed on the cars. All right, give me a second. I'm going to mute my mic for like 1 second here. Hey, it's Chris. We're quiet. We're silent here. You believe his paint changed back? At least he wrecked it. Like, he wrecks. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, it went back to the police paint. All right, I just figured I'd share that. Good luck, guys. So I had to go down and talk to Casey real quickly there. And I think my mic was still open, so yeah, you heard a little bit of that. Just sharing something about paint schemes and stuff. All right, so Carrington, Sutphin, Henry, Barkuski, and Heller, your top 5. Delft, Burden, Kirby, Miller, and Ethier, your top 10. And unfortunately, a lot of cars behind the wall. Finley, Fitzsimmons, Jonathan Smith has gone behind the wall. Did Mark Whitley get involved in that? Something must happen to Mark. I didn't see him in that wreck. Let me go back to Mark. Oh, you know what? He's right there behind the 8. Oh, and he gets into Josh Dillon, add the 88 to it. Yeah, he gets his nose into the wall. And, oh, he gets clobbered by the 55 of Jared Bundy. Well, there you go. And now we know. So Carrington is taking the top side here as we come back to the green. At lap number 6, back to it. Here we go. Good restart on Sutphin there. Barkuski and Henry and Heller, your top 5 as they go down to turn 1 for the second time on the green now. Let's see if we can get through there this time. Everybody so far so good. As he'll go by the lap car Craig Martin, who's unfortunately off the pace. Martin almost, he's pretty much putting himself up in the wall as everybody goes to avoid. But yeah, I think early in this race, you're going to see people run the bottom and then eventually move up to the top. And that's going to be the way to get around here. Chicago with 18 degrees of banking hasn't been touched. And caution is back out. And Drayton Cook is spun over in turn 3. So the Bugs Bunny number 31 not having a good start to the night. See what happens to the 31 this time. Oh, Craig Martin right there. And Drake just gets into the back of him. Not sure if that's just a misjudgment. I didn't get a good camera angle at that, so let's try it again. But he's got the slow car, Craig Martin, who's trying to get out of everybody's way, just running his own lane. Oh, and uh-oh. I think I know what happened here. Let's go to Craig's car for a second. Remember that whole wall thing? It kicked him back out on the track, and he hit Drayton Cook. So remember, it's right where the white of the Brant sign Right there. He actually almost doors Kyle Hall, and then Drayton just nowhere to go, runs him over. That's nowhere near on Drayton's fault. So I'll add to the carnage, unfortunately, early in this race. Now, one thing I have done, I should mention this, by the way, kind of changing things up a little bit. One thing I have done, starting, it actually started Wednesday night when I broadcasted the Grand National race there Wednesday night, is I've turned off driver audio altogether on my end. And I've done that not because, like, obviously I enjoy hearing the drivers chat and that kind of thing, but I've been very notorious to having that stuff getting out on the stream somehow. And I figured that's one way to kind of keep from people hearing words you shouldn't hear on the air. So just know that I cannot hear the drivers anymore. I can still talk to them or whatever, but something I'm going to be eliminating in the near future, except for one particular league on Tuesday and Thursday nights, because I kind of got to hear them to, well, help them with clearing flags and stuff. 17 viewers, and I appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Up to 940 channels. I wish I had to make channels. 940 subscribers. Would like to get to that 1,000 mark. And got an interesting thing I'll bring up now. As you know, the ARCA series ran just a little bit ago at Watkins Glen. I know the guy leading the race earlier had like a broken sway bar, and he was still pulling away from the cars. That was kind of impressive. I think it was Connor Zilich that was leading that race. And, well, while that was going on, I actually saw something today. And, well, decided I would get involved a little bit in that ARCA series. And for the first time ever, coming up Sunday at 2 p.m., you're going to obviously watch the ARCA series race at Springfield. Now, it's not the first time they've raced there. But the first time you will see the Captain Esports Network on one of the cars in the race, believe it or not. Brayton Laster is going to race in the 31 car as he, trying to remember off the top of my head the owners' names of the cars. It's kind of slipped my mind. I'll have to look here in a second. But basically, yeah, Captain Esports Network is going to be on the car. I'm not sure exactly details of like how big the logo is going to be or where or what, but yeah, so we're going to have a little part in that race. So looking forward to helping Brayton out a little bit and see who runs in that race and see what happens. Be kind of cool if he won. Fox Sports 1 broadcast. It's Captain Esports Network. As long as he has fun, that's all that matters to me. All right, Carrington and Sutphin going to lead him back to the green flag here at lap number 11. Got the bugs out here. Let's see if we can get back into a green flag run. Heller's got that hood fixed. Good job there on the brake crew. A little bit of right front damage still on that car. That is Kyle Ethier in the sixth position. Look underneath for fifth under Heller. Tyler Burden into the battle there. Tyler kind of close to his home area from the Indiana. Obviously Chicagoland. Chicago right outside of Indiana pretty much. As we watch Matthew Weeks there in the 11 car. Season 4 champion right there. J.W. Miller in the 6. You see the Navy car. That's the 109 of Shane Kirby. And you know Heller's probably fighting a little bit of a tight car with that right front. Crinkled up just a little bit. See the tire out there in the air. Probably about a minute or so of damage there he's got it fixed on his car. But he's elected to take the track position and hope his car's okay. kind of speeds we carry down the straightaway here. Remember, Gen 4 car with a lot of horsepower. 195 down to turn 1 is Sutphin up there putting pressure on Carrington. They're both running mirrored lines. That was interesting how they followed each other around there. Oh no! Hamlin into the wall off Nick Leo. Not sure how bad that 18 car is, but he hit pretty hard. Oh, and now around goes the 20 and the 29. That'll bring the third caution out. Jordan Owens. And I think the other car is Eric Schurer. Yep, sure is. A little bit of a rough start here. Lap 17, third caution. So a couple incidents here to cover. Let's start with the Mike Hamlin car. Right there, I'll just 3 wide, unfortunate contact there. Just kind of stuck the 18 in the wall. Looks like he did a good job bouncing off. He'll probably come to pit road and fix that damage. And they're right behind here, 29 and 20. Almost some contact there. And then, oh, Chris Lewis getting involved in this too. Lewis gets a little loose, it looks like. Hooks to 29. And we've got some cars on pit road. Now, one of the factors in this series, you got to remember this, the fuel numbers basically are different. This isn't 100% fuel in these cars. So tonight, estimated about 36 laps or so on fuel. And they do get 4 additional sets of tires, so they'll have 5 altogether. And one thing that has changed, and it started actually in the Daytona 200 last week, is the elimination of the start zone. Basically, it's disabled. Initial race is on the flagman. The rest is at leader's discretion. A couple of cars tonight taking provisionals include Jackson Van Pelt, Matt Schlosser, Tim Abreu, and Mike Husby. Provisionals and last place points to them. So and then the one other thing I kind of mentioned, the new team that formed up, the BS Incorporated, that is actually a new team. Yeah, they're second in points with the combined points of the 2 cars involved, which is Austin Bloom and Nick Sargent in the 42 car. Now, you might think that this race is off to a rocky start, which it kind of is. But let me point this out to you. Last 2 seasons have been night races, the last 2 times here, and both had the same amount of cautions. 10 cautions for 40 laps. We're at 3 at 19. So, obviously that number maybe not so unusual right now to be on its way up here to start this race. But I think eventually we'll get to racing here. This track, and these 1.5 mile tracks are very daring to people. I mean, a lot of people get comfortable running these kind of tracks, and that's where I think brings up yellow fever. That's why sometimes you might see a track that doesn't get ran a lot become a better race, because people aren't used to racing on it and they're just trying to take care of themselves. Where here, you're going hard and unfortunately one little bobble or get tight and contact happens and we have carnage. Season 4 race went 135 laps, had a green-white checker finish. Season 2 with the actual distance. And here, this is crazy. 10 cautions, 40 laps. And the difference in time of the race. It took an hour and 42 minutes, 39 seconds for the first one. Hour 43:38. So literally 59 seconds difference in both races. So for those wondering, we should be done somewhere in the hour and 43-minute range. All right, so Carrington, who's led all the laps so far here tonight. Zach Henry, Kyle Ethier, Barkuski, and Miller lead them back. As Casey fires off, green flag back out. Thomas Stanley having some blinking issues at the restart. Matter of fact, Stanley's fallen off the pace in that Mountain Dew number 62. Was that supposed to rhyme? If so, it worked. As Kyle Ethier climbing up for second topside. The rookie driver making his way towards the front. As he looks up topside, Zach Kerner, and here J.W. Miller getting a little loose over the seams. Got to be very careful how much you hit the throttle here, because that car can get very loose. So 24 laps. As you see Carrington already climbing to the top, you see this clouds starting to kind of roll in here a little bit. 3 wide racing back there with Nick Leo and Barkuski and a couple others. Stephen Miles also in that battle. You see Delph, you see J.W. Miller, Austin Bloom back there, 9th position, having a good run. Dalton Wilson, the 33 car, up 14 spots, started 24th, missed all the carnage, running into 10th position right now. Carrington said he was going to take it easy here. So much for taking it. Is he playing games with me here? Pulling away to a 1-second lead almost on Ethier. It's like when a broadcaster goes and asks, hey, how's the car today? Oh, it absolutely stinks. Guy goes out there and leads 200 laps of a 250 lapper. Up here for second. Zach Henry's gone back by Ethier for the runner-up position there. You see the battle for 4th right behind there with Leo and Delph. And then you saw for a second there as we started to show it, but then things started happening up front. You had Barkuski and Miles, a couple others here. Kyle Hall and Matthew Weeks. I saw Tyler Burden almost 3 wide at one point. Now, for those wondering, Colby Sutphin actually came to pit road at lap 17 and took fuel. So that's why Colby's back here in the 11th position after running up front here at the beginning of this race. So he's just kind of trying to pace himself back up to the front in that 24 car. Got to be careful with that outside wall, but the Kentucky Red Lakers car, if you will, or something of the sorts, battling with Kyle Hall for position. Yikes! Bloom got out of shape there. Colby had to get out of the gas. They were 3 wide for a second. You saw Kyle Hall shoot the bottom. You see Heller in that 8 car starting to join this fight. A little tussle here. Up front, Carrington Marinette look back. He's got old Henry there riding behind him. And getting closer and closer. And this is the battle right here, though. Actually, let's jump up here. A couple teammates side by side. The 1 of Miles, the 6 of Miller. Miles going to go by him with these. Here comes, or I should say he's coming up on the back of the 25. Meanwhile, back here at downtown, you see the 77. Mark Whitley is starting to... Oh, I'm sorry, Mark Whitley's behind the wall. That's the 70... I'm still getting used to paint schemes here, so forgive me. Is that Tyler Burden back there? Yeah, it's Tyler Burden. I'm sorry. The 36 car. And that is Whitley back on track, by the way, right there in the 77. So I was not wrong. Up here just trying to log laps and get points. So not sure how much fuel the leaders have saved with the 3 cautions we had, but that should buffer them a little bit more, maybe get up to lap 45 or so, I would say, before having to make green flag pit stops. Colby Sutphin almost caught the outside, or I'm sorry, it's not Sutphin, it's Dalton Wilson in the outside wall. Meanwhile, up front, 3-car battle now for the lead. Leo wants to make it 4. Lap time starting to fall off, about 1.5 seconds. Got, what, 4 different strategies right now. We got some cars that pitted on the first caution right there in lap 1, some that pitted at the second caution, and then you have a few that pitted at the third caution. So we'll have to keep track as these pit stops happen. Probably going to be a little more spread out when it comes to the strategy here. You see Miles and Miller have both caught Barkuski. Kyle Hall having a good run there in that 9th position. See, Heller's climbed back up to 10th, so good job on his side to get that damage fixed and work his way back up. .24 cars on the lead lap here. 37 laps complete out of the 134. Again, 200 miles tonight, or 2 hours, whatever happens first. And I'll go ahead and point this out. This is season number 3 now on the Captain Esports Network. We've never had a timed race. It's come close. We missed it by like 2 laps almost. I think 1 race, but otherwise we've been good to go. So plan on doing 134 laps tonight. All looking to take that bottom side here on the 6. Check out front. Henry trying to put some more pressure on that 9. You can just see where the 39's getting a little bit more of clean. Actually, he pushed the nose a little bit there through the corner. So I say he was getting a little bit of clean air on that left side. Two great battles going on here. The one up front and then this battle here with these guys. Hall and Miller and Barkuski, and there's actually kind of a third battle. Let's jump back here to Shane Kirby as Austin Bloom gets a little loose there in the Bloom Brakes car. Chris Lewis there. And you see right in front of them is Sutphin, who has kind of stalled out on his march back to the front after pitting for fuel. Here comes JW inside of Barkuski. For the 7th position, Dalton Wilson on pit road. I think that's the first car of those that have not come to pit road yet. You saw Miller about lose the back end. All right, here comes the leader to pit road. Carrington coming in, bringing Stephen Miles with him. Pit speed 45 miles an hour. Right side tires going on that 9 car. Good stop, 15 flat for him. Miles a 14.4. Good lap is Leo, Delph, Barkuski, Shane Kirby. JW Miller making pit stops also here. Again, these are all the cars that have stayed out with all 3 cautions. Coming in now. So Kyle Ethier, who actually just passed Zach Henry as Henry comes to pit road from P2, or now P1. He actually led for a couple laps there. More tires and fuel for the 39. And now Kyle Ethier to pit road. Kyle Hall on pit road. Austin Bloom. So pretty much all of the cars that pitted either at the first caution or have not pitted yet in this race have now pitted for 4 tires and fuel. So should be able to go another 15 or so laps before the second crew of cars would come to pit road here. So we'll see how they work that out with the strategy here in with lap time and stuff, as Heller now leads this race. Tyler Burden on pit road. And Kyle Hall is still... Okay, I'm sorry. Kyle's leaving the pits now. I thought he was in there for a while. Felt like forever. As the 31 is in, and we got a battle for the lead right here. Battle of drinks. Mountain Dew versus the old Ghost. You can almost say energy drinks if you wanted to, because Mountain Dew does have an energy drink. Mike Hamlin coming to pit road. That's the 31 of Drayton Cook trying to get a lap back. Here comes the fresh tires of Miles. We got to go 4 wide in the 3. Miles thinks better of it, gets out of it as they let the fresh tires go by. Hamlin 15.2. Chris Lewis on pit road now. Got to be very careful. Got to be very aware of who's around you. So I'm more amazed that these two are side by side while cars are going around them. Not only that, they're like giving them the middle lane as JW almost gets forced. Nick Leo's in the wall, it looks like. Leo with heavy right side damage on that Jewel car. See if we can find what happened here. Oh! And oh yeah, he almost got down to JW. Looks like he had to make an adjustment to the 31 of Drayton Cook. And unfortunately, Pound City into the wall. So Heller has gone back to the front, half second now on Weeks. And then there's Colby Sutphin there in third, Nick Terrell, and Leslie Law in the 5th position. As Weeks is going to turn down, come to pit road. "51 laps in the books." More tires in the 11, pulls away 14.5. As Heller's going to stay out there a little bit longer. It's the 18.52, that's 38. So yeah, should be pitting here any moment, the rest of these cars that pitted at the caution. Right now there's 5 of them up front. Heller, Sutphin, Terrell, Law, and Vinoski. They're playing the caution card right now is what they want. They want the yellow. And if they can get that, it steals the track position away. As here comes Heller to pit road. I think that's Austin Bloom in the modified back there. Nope, it's Sargent. That hands the lead to Colby Sutphin. And there is a whole lot of, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Wrong with this car, I guess so to say, right now. He's, well, the 24 in Colby, which of course this is Michael Jordan territory. He's got Kentucky in the car, of course. This is, I mean, if you want to call it North Carolina territory with Jordan, and it might be a fair assessment to say there. And then of course he's got the Red Sox and, well, Chicago home and the White Sox and the Cubs. So this is going to be your leader once everybody comes to pit road. It's going to be back to Casey Carrington in the 9 car. And it should be Zach Henry second, Stephen Miles, Kyle Ethier, and Bart Kuski are top 5 once everybody finishes their pit stops. Daytona winner Leslie Law on pit road, the Dunkin' Donuts number 27. I do apologize to Leslie for last week. This was the paint I think he was running, but unfortunately it was showing up a Ted Musgrave paint the whole time, which was the one he ran in the MH Design shootout the night before. But that race in itself, me and Anthony Calantoni, after this race, we went and ran another league race that I'm actually going to be running here tonight after this. And we were sitting there talking about that race, literally after it. And we were joking around like throughout the night because we were running a super speed. We were like, hey, we need to try what Leslie did, see if it works. And you see Colby kind of overshooting his pit stalls. You see Alfanowski leaving pit road. So Nick Terrell now leading in the Doritos 81 car. I can't tell if that's actually Nick or if that's like a photoshopped background. All right, so through the first round of pit stops here under the green flag. As up front, Casey Carrington just passed his teammate, Terrell, as he's going to come to pit road. So the cycle finally over, and Carrington going to pick up the lead back at lap number 58. 1.7 seconds over Zach Henry. Stephen Miles, Kyle Ethier, J.W. Miller now. So 3 TI cars in the top 5, along with a CX squared car and a 2511 car. So, of course, this is the first season of the Cup car. If you remember last season, it started ARCA, and then when the car was accidentally released, so to say, when the setups were changed, they made the decision to go ahead and go to the Cup car and stay with it, and then made the decision to do the swap over to the Cup Series. So, as caution going to come out for the 4th time, I do not have it registered who it is, so I might have to go search for it. And my immediate guess, it's not Nick Terrell. That was my guess because he was just coming off pit road. I shall have to find it. We got nobody stopped on the track. Did somebody throw something on the track? It's one of those where I just click around for a little bit. And if I had to, I show you guys the secrets of how to find a yellow on the track. Leaders are going to come to pit road first. I'll find the caution. I'm not one of those that'll give up. Just give me a second here. We'll find it. As 62 going to get the lucky dog. If somebody knows in chat, you can point it out too, by the way. I don't mind chatting. If you guys are enjoying the stream tonight or whatever, feel free to say hello. I saw, let's see who all was in here. KW Gamer, of course, the son of Mr. Law, and then Harrington Ma 11. Appreciate you watching. Colby Sutphin checked in. Kyle Hall, Patty Heller. Why did it not cut to the pit stops? I just realized, like, as I'm saying hello to people, that we missed the pit stops. The good news is we have instant replay for all of this stuff. So let's go back to pit stops. Here we go. Looks like another set of tires going on some cars. Maybe some cars fuel only. As I peek over, it looks like everybody's tires, for the most part, there's Tyler Burden. Fuel only for him. As Carrington going to be second off pit road behind the 36. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Trying to remember, which one are you, bud? Sorry, I'm just trying to remember names here. I broadcast like 3 different leagues and every night of the week, pretty much. One-man show over here. My memory's not the best. And get old sucks. I have like 15 excuses, but it's okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is how we find a caution. For those who ever have to run a league, take notes. This is how you find a caution. Or who is the caution right here. So I'm clicking on the leader. I'm going to go to iRacing really quickly here. I'm going to, of course, here's one of them situations where, okay, thanks, Alex, where the leader's actually not the first car in line. So we're going to go up here. So the first car in line, which is there's the pace car, right? So we're going to go back now. To the yellow flag. And it should be the pace car sitting on pit road here. There's a car in the grass right there I just saw. Alright, so when all else fails, you go to the pace car and you sit here. And you wait for the caution lights to come out. Right there. All right. So there's the caution. And from there, you just start searching and you find a car spun out. And that is Jordan Owens in the 20. There's your caution right there. As he got... Oh, Chris Lewis got him. Oh, and... All righty then. Owens a little defensive there. And Lewis said, no, no, no. The Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram number 111. Turned him, put him in a wall. So for those that didn't know that, I actually learned that a long time ago, back when you really didn't have all this technology for like timing and scoring and stuff. I learned from a guy named Nordgar. Some might remember him back. He always hosted what they called mystery races every night. I'd be up to like 3 in the morning. This was like 10 years ago. And me and a guy named Rudy Cummings, who some might know, Max Speed TV, helped him do his broadcast when he had to step away for personal reasons. Of course, Rudy went and started his thing, and here I am on my thing, and, well, 10 years later, we're both still going. And caution's been waved off. Now, of course, all these years I've done my own broadcasting outside of this. I've covered high school football and did some basketball and stuff up in Indiana, which I know they're kicking off their football season tonight. Up in that area, Georgia here where I'm at now's they're kicking off their season. But if you ever asked me in 2023 if I'd ever be just covering racing online, I'd have told you you're crazy. But then I learned I'm the one who's actually crazy. All right, let's try it again. And this time, no, we're going to have a little fun with this. If you have speakers, whatever you're watching, if you're watching on a TV, I want you to grab your remote volume. Turn it up. 3 wide for the lead. As Zach Henry pounces on the battle between Carrington and Heller. Of course, these guys with a little bit fresher tires than Heller. As he tries to hold on, Carrington going to fall back to 4th. As Kyle Ethier now joins this battle. Some great racing up front here. And by the way, can I throw a really big shout out to NASCAR? Of course, as I'm sitting there listening to the car sounds, we think of the old NASCAR back in the old heyday of the Gen 4 and stuff. But if you have not heard, NASCAR released NASCAR Classics online. You can now go, I think the website's classics.nascar.com or something like that. You can now watch over 1,000 races online from start to finish. Now, obviously, the ones from like the heyday are like 5 minutes long. But you can go back. The 98 Daytona 500, you can watch it again. The Bristol Terry Labonte Earnhardt deal, you can watch that. The 2005 Brickyard 400 with Tony Stewart going to Victory Lane, you can watch that. The, let's see what else, 79 500, watch it. I think I saw a couple days ago the 1964 Firecracker 400. You could watch it on the Wide World of Sports, ABC. It's all there. So that is so cool. And it's given me some really cool ideas that I want to do because I am a nostalgic NASCAR person. I love going back and watching old races so I can learn the sport some more as an adult now. And boy, that's a channel here this weekend I'll probably be watching as much as I can. And I've already watched the 1951 Daytona Beach race and the 1951 Michigan, what was it called? It was called the Motor City 250. It was at the Michigan State Fairgrounds. Two leaders wrecked each other, by the way, at the end of that race. It was kind of cool. You only get to see like 5 minutes of the race, but still. Get the history of all the cars back in the heyday. And it's cool going on Twitter and seeing like everybody, which by the way, I didn't even have a chance to tell you guys I'm on TikTok now. For those who are interested, you can watch the Captain Esports Network on TikTok. I've only done one video so far, and that was just a recap of last week. I'll probably do it again this week, and so on and so forth. But just look up Captain Esports Network on the old talk. And you can follow me there as Barkuski topside on Carrington. That is a Pontiac on the outside of a Dodge. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm doing. I started to fall asleep last night watching the 52 race, the Daytona Road Race. No, I'm the same way you are. The one idea I'm thinking about, and I gotta see how I can do it legally, but I would like to create like a team, and maybe I do it in Discord or something, but create a group of us that can all come together on a night, if it's a Saturday night or whenever, and we'll just watch and maybe go through chronologically or something through NASCAR and watch like the seasons. And then for those who are like young people that weren't alive or were too young to know, we can kind of sit there like myself. I was born in the 80s, so I grew up in the 90s, and go back and remember like some of those races, like when you know, the one hot night at Charlotte in 92, or the, yeah, like I said, the two Labonte Earnhardt races at Bristol. Oh! Matthew Weeks into the wall back there. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Jared Bundy. Wrong Mountain Dew car. There's Matthew right there in the bottom. Yeah, you can go back and watch the first two Chicago races, 01 and 02, that were won by Kevin Harvick, and you can see how the 2002 race almost didn't go Harvick's way. That was the year he spun over in turn one. I don't remember. I know something transpired to make it happen, but I think Jimmy Spencer had gotten in the back of him or something, and he ended up coming back to win the race. The 91 Michigan race between Jarrett and of course I'm gonna Davey Allison. – And of course, the one race that some might call the best race of all time, the 92 Atlanta race. How about this comeback right here? The car in front of Dalton Wilson. Drayton Cook in the 31 car. If you remember him, he was involved in the first two accidents. The first wreck, he got collected in. The second wreck, he got in the back of Craig Martin. Just unfortunate, just a misjudgment. He has worked his way back into the top 11 right now. 11th or 12th position, I should say, for Drayton Cook. So great comeback for him right now in that 31 car. Having a fantastic run. Now the older tires are paying for this. Let's check back here. 15th position is where you will find Christopher Heller now with the older tires. He needs this race to play out. If he can actually probably another 10 laps, maybe 8 to 10 laps, get a caution, and he would be right back in this. The problem is, though, is he has lost the track position now with the no tires. But he will have an extra set of tires later in the race, so there's kind of a pro and a con there. As Zach Henry leads Kyle Ethier by 4/10. Stephen Miles right there in third. As Matthew Weeks comes to pit road. I actually can't wait to get to the part where you get to cover a lot of the seasons and stuff instead of just having like little 5-minute highlight clips. Because I think it was I remember reading this on Wikipedia. I think it's 1985 was the first year that all the races were actually recorded, if not live. And then 92 was the first season where every race was actually live on TV. As Kyle Hall working his way back up, 9th position. The Daytona driver having a great run. Right behind Austin Bloom, who's having a fantastic run tonight. Mike Hamlin, good comeback for that 18 car after suffering some damage. With Kyle's, we look at his very unique colored helmet. All right, here comes Heller to pit road, the Ghost number 8. More tires and fuel for him as Stephen Miles has gone by Kyle Ethier for second. Strategy coming into play now. We got 48 laps to go. Ryan with Drayton. 48 laps to go. Still one more stop at least in this race, even with this stop happening. Leaders came at 60. Go 36 from there's 126. I'm sorry, 60 from 36 is 96. Let me get the numbers right there. And then 96 to 134 comes out to be, what, 38 laps? So maybe this is a one-stopper, but you're going to need to stretch this thing as far as you can on this stop right here. As Carrington putting the pressure on Ethier for third. Josh Dillon, Mark Whitley on pit road. Ethier getting loose. Now next week we go to Nashville Super Speedway for 150 laps on the 1 1/3 mile D-shaped oval. Of course, last time we were there, it was Casey Carrington getting his first career win. Yeah, the guy that ran the series finally goes to victory lane back in season 4. And then from there, we'll take Labor Day off and head to Dover for 200 miles of racing there. Michigan, Watkins Glen. These next few races into September and October almost. Don't look back, Zach, but here comes Miles in that one car. Now, the one thing I will admit I kind of feel wrong about is we thought eventually this race would move to the top groove, and I really haven't seen it much at all tonight. It's been the bottom. I don't know if that's track temperature, if that's the setup or what, but you really haven't seen many cars utilize that top. It's been Bob Ross, paint the bottom. See them past Josh Dillon, who was off the pace a little bit. Miles putting the pressure on here. As Vinosky and Leslie Law come to pit road, so pit stop starting up here as Henry gets a little loose. Here comes Miles. Both of them four-wheel sliding up the track. Looks like Dillon just being a little patient. Got to put an egg underneath that throttle. It's so crazy. So about a lap or so, we should be in the window where nobody will have an issue making it on fuel. Miles continuing to put the pressure on. That's Matthew Weeks there behind him in the 11, who obviously pitted a few laps ago. Matthew's best situation right now is to get these leaders to pit road, go a few laps, and then get a yellow. And if he can get that, he will steal some track position, but then also be back in the tire business with everyone else, if not even have a newer set to put on and go with this. Here comes Josh Dillon there inside in the Surge car. question is, when does people start coming to pit road? Sutphin on pit road now. Sargent. Also, Craig Martin and Jordan Owens. Most of those cars a lap down, unfortunately. As we watch Miles go for the lead here. Caution. Nick Leo has gone around. Over in turn 4. And that actually is going to work out for Matthew Weeks because it's going to put him on the lead lap. However, he'll be at the back of the field, which I guess could be worse. However, for Christopher Heller, unfortunately, he is a lap down right now. But with Leo spinning, he's going to be the lucky dog. So that just kind of helped him out. And for Nick, unfortunately, I think he dropped his jewel pen again. Let's see. He's trying to come to pit road. Car D wedges on the apron there. Oh, a little D-Dido and comes back up the track. Thankfully, nobody's really around. Oh, no! There was somebody. He got clobbered. Is that Vanowski? Oh, where have I seen a Budweiser car get T-bone or get turned like that? Auto Club Speedway. Boom. Leaders on pit road. And going to be Henry winning the race off pit road. Miller going to come out behind Miles. Kyle Ethier, your top 5. Let's go back again to this accident and let's go on board with the innocent bystander of the 28 car of Jake Vanowski. And yes, he's in a Budweiser car. And for those, again, with the classics, the incident with Kevin Harvick and Dale Jr. at Auto Club back 10, 15 years ago. Harvick went to go to pit road and Jr. went to the bottom to go around him and unfortunately clipped him and turned him into the wall. Very hard. Oops, wrong button. All right, so Zach Henry going to be the leader. And let's, I think we're going to get one to go this time by. So I want to talk to Zach, but oh, there's Zach right there. Okay. And Zach in the 2511 cars, they double up real quickly here. Zach, obviously been a wild race here so far. A lot of green flag racing here in the last 80 laps. You got what it takes to put this Pontiac in victory lane?
I like to think so. It's definitely beneficial being out front and having the ability to control the restart here. But Casey's been fast. He's proven he's got a lot of speed, and so is Steven back there in third. So it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully it goes green here and we can just race it out.
Absolutely. And one thing I noticed, the top side really hasn't come in much. Is that part of maybe the weather, or what do we think?
I'm not sure. I heard Casey say something about him having the inability to run the wall. I know me personally, I'm just terrible at running the high side up against the wall, so I stick to the bottom anyways. I've noticed that on short runs, it's pretty beneficial. It can help build some momentum, but it seems like as the tires wear out, just the bottom's the way to go.
Absolutely, man. Hey, best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Zach Henry running in the lead right now. Appreciate his time. 32 laps to go this time by. It is Henry, Carrington, and then the two TI cars of Miles and Miller. Almost want to call them the law firm as Henry kicks off and goes green. I think 4 wide back here. Thought they were there for a second. Racing really going to get intense now. We got that long green flag run. We had the cautions at the beginning, and we all know what happens towards the middle and the end of a race. They breed them. Matthew Weeks already on the march up to the 8th position with the newer tires. Inside of that powder coat plus number 87 of Kyle Hall. Let's jump up here. Battle for second. Battle of red Dodges. As J.W. Miller moves to the front, or to second, I should say, around Carrington. Megan Smith jumping in, saying she's rooting for the 28 car of Fanoski. Oh, you don't want to know what just happened to him, Megan. Anyways, he's okay, though. Thankfully, it's a simulator. Mike Hamlin's starting to make a comeback here. Kyle Ethier had a little bit of a rough pit stop and restart situation there as he's back here in his 6th position, been running top 3 all night. And he's going hard. You notice some of the fastest laps of this race being ran right now. Track temp down to the coolest it's been all night, 93, 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Still got to kind of keep an eye on those tires, though. You do not want to burn them up. Oh, somebody smacked the wall. Was that Kyle? That was Austin Bloom. Bloom in the 48, unfortunately, hitting the wall. And we continue green, though, but look at these leaders on top of another now. Race Fan 1973 saying going to 39 in this one. That's his prediction. I will say this. Now, obviously, it's a different league. Obviously, different animals in this series. A lot of great drivers, which I'm not saying much different about the other series I broadcast, but I've been around J.W. Miller now for a few years. And J.W. Miller, I've always called Mr. Long Run. I don't know what it is about him, but the man can run a car at a certain pace at the beginning of a run, and then his car just comes to life later. Obviously, it's a little bit different of a field. And I don't know if he could be, I mean, he'll be able to save tires, but I don't know if he can do it to a pace where he can save as much and be a lot faster. But I've had plenty of times I've raced him, and he's blown my doors off 40 laps into a run. And it's like, all right, I want to know where you got that speed from. So I made mention of it a little bit ago. A reminder, though, on Sunday, look for the Captain Esports Network car in the Arca Menards race at Springfield on the 31 car. Brayton Laster, appreciate him doing. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other sponsors on that car and stuff too, but it's going to be cool. I don't care how big the space is, if it's a little back of the window cling or if it's somewhere else on the car. To be able to cheer him on and have the Captain Esports on that car in the race on Sunday. Wish him the best of luck, and I will be eating a pizza for the pizza man. Put it like that. The man loves pizza. As JW under attack now. Carrington coming back after him. As Tyler Burton to pit road. Unscheduled pit stop for the 36. And Miles trying to make it 3 deep here. All right, so move Carrington up to second. That's awkward. I don't know how to respond to that, Wes. I don't know. I mean, I know who she is because I've seen her on social media, obviously. You know, obviously with the mentions and stuff of her from him and that, yeah. But anyways. Hey, let's go racing tonight. What do you think? Colby Sutphin coming to pit road. Not sure what that's all about. Fair enough. I mean, I've gotten to know him a little bit. I don't know him too well, but I've raced with him a couple times, and one of the leagues that I know he was a part of a little bit ago with Chris Lewis and them. But no, I've always watched him on the track and stuff. He's got a cool personality, and you know, I've talked to him, like I said, a few times. And you know, when I saw he posted something today on Facebook or a couple days ago, and I saw it today. And anytime I see a driver out on track that's looking for help, and it's something I can help him with, and you know, I see the effort and stuff, I'm going to support them. And Brayton was one of them. I saw what he posted, and I was like, hey, I can actually kind of help him here in this situation. Most of them, it's like, yeah, I don't have that much on me. But no, I think it's a cool opportunity to help the channel, and not to mention he has dirt experience being in Indiana there. So there's a new contender up here in the top 5, and I talked about it, the caution he was waiting on. Matthew Weeks, Season 4 champion, up to 5th. Don't leave this 11 out. Now, all of a sudden, JW starting to fall back here a little bit, so I don't want to say as much if JW maybe has burned his tires off as much as he might actually be saving right now. Let's just, we'll have to keep an eye on that 6 car here in the next probably 5 or 6 laps. See if it starts to come back to him. As Ethier there, Barkuski, and then Mike Hamlin, I mentioned, having a great comeback. Drayton Cook just got into the top 10 there in that 31 car after his couple of incidents a little bit ago. As Carrington coming to the back of Henry now. As Casey looks to back up his second place finish at Daytona last week that he called completely luck. And maybe score win number 3 of his career. course, that 9 car, we, if you're a Casey Kane fan, you think back to the closest he ever came to winning here at Chicago was that 2004 race where he led on a restart, and Tony Stewart pretty much just moved him out of the way, and it turned into a fight with Tommy Baldwin and Tony Stewart's pit crew, and and Casey slides into the wall. There's the broadcaster jinx for you. You can actually see that on the NASCAR Classic site too, by the way. Not sure how bad, if any, Casey hurt that car. I see a little bit of side damage there, but this car is so durable. As Miles now putting pressure on. Next week it is the Nashville Super Speedway for round number 3. Everybody outside the top 10 pretty spread out for the most part here. It's up here in the front where you're seeing the battles going on. As Miles putting pressure on Carrington. Carrington trying to still put pressure on Henry. As Josh Dillon comes to pit road, so a lot of people pitting here. Let's go to Barkuski trying to battle the hashtag Team MMG number 18. Oh, and somebody smoked up the storm there. I didn't see where that came from. Christopher Heller on pit road. I think that's an actual scheduled stop for him. He was short on fuel. So he was trying to get a caution maybe to get back on cycle. And unfortunately for the 8, 2 straight rough races for the champion last season. Kind of like Matthew Weeks had the same kind of issues in season 5 after winning the season 4 championship. So let's go ahead and start up the old trope of the champion jinx of the next season. Heller going to come out right in front of his teammate here. Jump to the top side. Nice respectful move here. He should be able to drive away though. Now, for those who don't remember the story of Zach Henry last season, Henry actually, I believe, subbed for a few races for the 28 of Barkuski, and I believe he subbed actually for Heller a couple races, and he actually won his first race in that 28 car for Barkuski, who had not won a race at that point, but had run really well. It's kind of interesting how that all worked out. And then, of course, Henry later on in the season kind of went on his own tear. As Miles going for second. Carrington carrying that top side. And for Casey tonight, by the way, his career leading 70th career start. I would hope in your own league you'd have the most starts. But there's plenty of drivers that have got provisionals and different things like that throughout. But Casey does have the most career starts at 70. And he won his 8th career pole this evening, which is tied for second now on the all-time list with Zach Rogers. Of course, John Eckert, who pretty much blew the series away in the first couple seasons, had 10 of those. Now, to kind of explain to you where this series has gone in the first 6 seasons here, as we're in the middle of season 6 right now, as Weeks takes advantage of Miles getting loose on the bottom there. It's a battle for the 3rd position. What a comeback for the 11, and caution is out. Flip this race upside down. Craig Martin has gone around, and whoa. Oh, easy, Craig. Things just got intramasante. Question, does anyone have tires? We're going to wait and see. I'll show the replay here in a second. What I was about to say was, obviously, Eckert and David Tooker don't race in the series anymore. So those are your two winningest drivers. The next winningest driver has 4 wins. And Zach Henry has a chance to actually tie that tonight if he were to go to victory lane. So it just shows you the wide assortment of drivers who have won races in this series. Henry comes to pit road. So does Carrington. Stephen Miles stays out. Did Carrington... Carrington at the last minute hangs a right and stays out. Kyle Hall stays out. So, strategy. I believe all these cars had tires. They're just sitting there long enough to take them. So, what? Well, for the 9, for Miles, for Hall. But you know what? Here's the deal. Here, I know what their thinking is. We're going to go green here with probably 2 laps to go. And they're thinking either we're going to get a quick caution or there might be enough cars. But being honest with you right now, 4 cars stayed out. So Henry's going to be likely the inside of row 3. I don't know about that. That's but then again, I'm questioning a guy who won Nashville on 2 tires 2 seasons ago. Yeah, he pulled a Dalton, if you will. See what happened to Craig Martin now to bring the caution out. Uh-oh. Whitley got him. Oh, hold the brakes. There you go. Obviously, incident, I don't think Whitley meant for that to happen, but caution comes out. So I talked about it a few minutes ago. You got Rogers, Matthew Weeks, and Mark Whitley tied at 4. Carrington actually already has 3 wins. It'd be his 4th career win, by the way. I got that number wrong. Zach Henry with 3, Mike Husby. So there's a lot of active drivers right there at 3 and 4 and 2, obviously. And again, just shows up the amount of different racers that have won. We've had 23 different winners now in this series history. And we'll see if Stephen Miles can make it number 24. Of course, Leslie Law became 23 last week. Well, will we see a repeat winner? Kyle Hall back there in 3rd. All right, 1 to go. So we'll get the green with 2 laps to go. It will not be extra laps because looking right now, it actually might, yeah, you know what, it will be overtime here for the All-American Cup Series. We're completing lap 132 this time by. So for the 2nd consecutive race, we will have overtime. Carrington, Miles, Terrell, and Hall have fresh tires. Carrington with a smart move here took the top side because he'll be able to jump from the top and have 2 of the other cars on older tires down at the bottom. Henry is going to need to work his way through. The guy that might be the one to watch here on this run is Matthew Weeks in 6, because he's going to be able to go to the top and maybe go wild here through the field. The problem is, though, we saw earlier with the wreck with Fitzsimmons, you're going to be loose on these new tires. So we'll see. Here we go. Carrington can fire off anytime. There he goes, and Miles goes for a spin. Bam, it gets clobbered. Miles got caught sleeping. And that is a rare mistake by that one car. A crucial element in this series just changed last week when they took out the Geico restart zone for the series because of just issues with it. Now, unfortunately, restarts have hurt Stephen Miles here. Spun the tires. And as I always say on a restart, on older tires, you're going to go to the right if you spin them. Casey gets on it, catches Miles sleeping, and he goes right. Nice job by Terrell to miss. Who's the car that clobbered him? Oh, right there, the 109. And Terrell's going to come to pit road, so he must have gotten damage. And knowing Steven, he is beating himself up right now. So there goes Heller getting the lucky dog. He'll be back on the lead lap, so might be able to make up some positions here potentially. And we'll have our second attempt now at overtime. Henry was able to move up to third, Weeks up to fourth. So now Carrington's kind of even more in a box because the fresh tires are right behind him. Drayton Cook up to fifth. How about that? For those curious, we're nowhere near the 2-hour mark, so don't have to worry about time. So we should get one to go, I believe, this time by. So now we got two cars with older tires on the front. And then the field. I hate to say this, but this is not looking good for those two up front. I could be wrong. Question is, how aggressive are they going to be being defensive? And how aggressive are the other cars going to be offensive? Expect Casey to jump early here. There he goes. Straight restart. Nice job on his part. Hall does not go, and that holds up the 39. Carrington sliding up the track. Here comes Matthew Weeks. White flag, final lap. J.W. Miller trying to uncaution is out. Oh, no, did we not? Whoa, I did not see that. The race is not over. Dalton Wilson apparently has gone around, and the caution came out right at the white flag. Kyle Hall getting into the wall there. Oh, and Dalton D-Didos into Colby Sutphin. Oh. And J.W. Miller coming to pit road. I'll have to cover that here in a second. How close was the leaders to the line? This might be one of those, because here's the thing. iRacing, there's the wreck. iRacing has a little, let's be honest, they're a little late when it comes to this yellow deal. It's happened a couple times now. There's no yellow right now. Weeks is across the line. I've seen this before. And I'm sure it's something they're going to work on. But white flag's out there across the line. However, you're going to see the caution comes out. And I don't know if it's because iRacing has it set up that when the yellow is triggered, that, which would be like right now, that he's not across the line, and just because nothing is flipped over yet, so to say, maybe it's like a process or something. But the race is not over. And this will be the third and final attempt. So the tricky part for the 39 there, and this is where Casey had the advantage, is when Kyle Hall didn't go and had to be careful on the restart, Henry couldn't switch lanes. So he had to stay behind Kyle the whole time. And I'm sure he was asking the admin, like, hey, can I, if he spins, can I go? But Zach did a great job getting back to third. And still has a legit shot here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the race. This has been fun. That's what this series does. Puts on good Friday night racing here on the Cup side now. Used to be ARCA side. Sets up a wild weekend. By the way, for those curious, or for those interested, I will be actually in the car racing here in a few minutes, and I'll have the stream up. Obviously, I'll shut this stream down once we finish and then open a new window up on YouTube. So, if you want to come watch me run a super speedway race, feel free. Yeah, we should be done by 11, so. All right, lights are off, so here we go. This will be it. The final attempt. 3 attempts at a green-white checker. Chris Lewis up to 7th. I'll never hear the end of that one. Colby Sutphin back up to 9th. Fact. And here we go. 2 laps to go. Casey's trying to time it with his older tires. He's got to be careful not to spin them now. There goes Matthew. Barkuski, good restart from second. Ooh, almost some contact with Henry in the 9 car of Carrington. Here comes Mike Hamlin. Here comes Kyle Ethier. Nobody's wrecked yet. White flag is out. We're here. Final lap. Mid part of this race, Matthew Weeks got caught on pit road, had to take a lucky dog, got back on the lead lap, and has driven his way up through the field into his 5th career win and first of season 6. Weeks has conquered Chicago as one car goes spinning. Zach Henry comes back to second over his teammate Barkuski. Kyle Ethier, Chris Lewis end up top 5. Drayton Cook ends up 6th. I didn't see who the car was that spun. Casey Carrington 11th. That is going to be one unhappy guy. Now, of course, with that win for Matthew, it breaks the 3-way tie he had and now goes into sole possession of 3rd in the all-time All-American wins and becomes the active leader now in the wins category. As Weeks burns it down, let's take a look at the final results here of what ended up being a crazy race. That's qualifying, Scala. There we go. Weeks wins it by 6/10 over Zach Henry, who comes back to get second. Brandon Barkuski 3rd. Kyle Ethier, Chris Lewis, Drayton Cook, your top 6. Great run for those guys. Great comeback for Drayton. Austin Bloom, good run. Finished 7th, was consistent all night. Mike Hamlin also battled back to 8th. J.W. Miller ends up 9th after having to pit there under that caution. Christopher Heller took a lucky dog and got back to the top 10, so great job on his part. Carrington, tough break for him, falls to 11th. Nick Terrell, 12th. Kyle Hall, 13th. Look at that, 11th, 12th, 13th, the 3 cars that were on the front row, basically, for those couple of overtimes. Nick Leo, 14th. Colby Sutphin ends up 15th. Shane Kirby, Dalton Wilson, and Tyler Burden finish in the 18th position there. Thomas Stanley finished in 19th with Jared Bundy in 20th. Jake Vanoski, 21st. Leslie Law off the Daytona win finishes 22nd. Nick Sargent, Quentin Sutphin, Josh Dillon. Stephen Miles ends up 26th after his unfortunate restart. Let's see where Mark Whitley, 27th. Craig Martin, 28th. And the rest of the field, Jared Owens, Brad Delph had a good run going early. Had unfortunate fortunes there at the end. Jacob Locklear, Finley Fitzsimmons, lap 1 wreck, took out him. Jonathan Smith, the rookie there, and Carson George. Just slinging TV, I agree 100%. That was craziness. It's what it's all about, though, is going for the win in a good series like this. And I'm sure, obviously, there are going to be some unhappy drivers, but then there's going to be some happy drivers. And the happy guys are going to be the 25-11 team as they finish 2nd, 3rd, and 10th tonight here. And the 3rd place finisher being Brandon Barkuski in a 25 car. Brandon, congratulations to you on getting this top 3. I know it was a tough battle. Didn't necessarily have the fastest car tonight, but we're able to persevere and get a top 3 finish.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have said it more accurate. I felt like we were like an 8th or 9th place car, but sometimes, you just hang around all day and good things tend to happen. That's kind of been my strategy with this new Gen 4 car. Just keep it clean and just be there at the end. And the seas parted tonight. You can call me Moses, I guess.
Well, it worked out. Obviously, I know we had some cautions there at the beginning, and we went on a long green flag run that saw multiple pit stops there. And then, of course, to the end, here come the cautions again, and obviously the restarts there. Talk about the survival for you.
Yeah, it's really just trying to find the lane where those slow cars weren't, and that's just really how I was trying to set myself up, kind of use them as picks, and I played it right, and that's kind of ultimately what got me up to 3rd. I would say that caution in the green-white checkered cycle definitely helped me. I don't think I would have been in 3rd if that didn't happen, so probably would have been like 5th, 6th. So really, it was just positioning on the racetrack and just putting your car where it needs to be without being reckless around others. That's really what it comes down to.
And of course, last week, I believe you took a provisional, if I remember correctly, and now a 3rd place finish tonight. So obviously, after missing last week, this is a good way to kick off your season.
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer. I feel like I can never make a full season in this league. I really do enjoy racing in it, but just unfortunately, sometimes other obligations in life take precedent. But any chance I get, I'm going to be racing here. Love this league. Absolutely,
man. Well, great job tonight. Good top 3 for you, and a great team run. And send some shout outs to whoever you like to.
Yeah, Chris and Zach, just love running with those guys, and Casey just for continuing to run this league. I think it's like season 6. My guys just said,
yeah,
just keep it up. I love it.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job tonight, Brandon.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Barkuski, 3rd place finish for him, and he said it best. He just persevered and took advantage of what was handed to him, and turned a top 10 car into a 3rd place finish for him. And Zach Henry had a little bit of a fight there at the end of this race. Zach, you led a lot of laps. A lot of people thought you might have had the best car tonight, but unfortunate circumstances there with restarts, and you still found a way to battle back to 2nd.
Yeah, it was a fun race when we get those runs. That last long run that we had before the series of green white checkers. I don't know. It almost kind of felt like I had a bad set of tires on the car. I couldn't get the thing to the bottom, and I couldn't really do what I was wanting to. So, I was just trying to play air games at that point when Casey or Steven was getting close to me, and I like to think I probably had that one if we didn't have that caution there with 5 to go. But those restarts were something. Just all of them, I got stuck behind the person that had old tires on the front row, and I just couldn't do anything about it because of I couldn't change lanes before the start finish line. So, but I did what I could. 2nd was given the situation I was put in at the end of the race, I think second was about as good as I was going to get.
It's one of those disadvantages where you come out the leader off pit road. It's like, crap, now they're going to put me in the lane that I don't want to be in the whole time. So, still, though, great comeback, great second place run. And team wise, you guys had a great run tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Chris had a very eventful night, and he was still able to fight back to I think a 10th place finish.
Yeah.
And then Brandon, I know that he was hanging around the top 5 there all race, and then I feel like he really kind of came out of nowhere during those last few restarts, and it was fun to battle him to the line there for second place. It's not too terribly often when you get to run side by side like that to the finish with your teammates.
Well, it worked out for you. You did a great job tonight, and congratulations. And send some shouts wherever you like to.
I'll start out with my wife. I know she's watching, and I got some family watching here as well. So, and then also the 2511 guys, Brandon and Chris. As I always say, it's a blast running with those guys, and I mean, all of us had a lot of pace. If Chris didn't get caught up in that lap 1 wreck, and a few other acts of misfortune occurred during the race for him, like getting hit under caution while he was a lucky dog candidate and losing the lucky dog because of it, he probably would have been up there racing with us as well, and we would have been really trying to have another one of those 25-11 1-2-3 finishes. But it's a blast running with those guys. Casey and any of the admins for All American let me race here, and putting together a good league. I know it's a little messy, but I think they do a great job, and it's just a lot of fun every time I show up. And then obviously you, Chris, for doing a great job with these broadcasts. One of my favorite broadcasters to watch, and I look forward to rewatching this thing.
I appreciate that, man. And great job tonight, and we'll see you next Friday.
All right, I'll see you next Friday.
All right, sounds good. As Zach Henry finishing in the second position here tonight, and having a great run for he and his 2511 bunch, as mentioned, as Captain Comeback here tonight, if you will, joins us now in victory lane as Matthew Weeks gets the win, becomes the active leading winner, believe it or not, in the series at 5, and gets the first win of the season 6. You get that monkey off your back really quick after the struggles of season 5, and not to mention coming back from the misfortune of just strategy going wrong for you mid-race, and just fight back and make passes and just be there at the right time, and here you are in victory lane.
It played out right, didn't it?
Yeah, somehow it did for you.
Yeah, I lucked out really, because I went off strategy earlier trying to think, hey, we might get a long run here. Maybe if I stretch my fuel longer, I can be better towards the end of the race. And the caution didn't play out how I expected, but that caution at like 105, I forget what lap it was, but right there in 100 saved my race.
Yeah, because at that point, if I remember correctly, you are a lap. No, see, Chris is a lap. Yeah, you were a lap down. You had just got by the leader, and the caution comes out, and you end up coming back around. Chris takes the lucky dog because the guy that was running in front of him is the one that brought the caution out. It just kind of works its ways out like that. But the caution you didn't want to see happened at the second restart of the overtime, as we saw in the replay that you were across the line. But I think it's hard to, technology, we're on a simulator. It's got to be like some kind of process. I'm assuming that from the time that iRacing says, hey, caution is out, to the time it finally gets it all put out, that's probably where the yellow come out before the line. But then when the wave and the lights come on, it's 2 hours later. You're over in turn 1 almost. And unfortunately, I had to do the third restart, and I'm sure you were saying some things we can't say right now.
No, I wasn't. I think I was more mad about the caution that came out when it was Zach Lead and Casey and I think his name's Steven Miles.
Yeah.
We're all grouped together. I finally caught him, and I was so excited. I'm like, dude, this battle for the win is about to be insane. And then the caution come out. I think I was more mad about that.
I gotcha. Just because you wanted to battle. Yeah, I mean, 4 drivers, 4 great drivers up there fighting hard, and the racing itself there, I mean, especially the last, 30 laps, I mean, the top 10 were almost on top of another, all the last 30 laps of that race.
Yeah, I was driving so hard. I thought I was going to kill my right front before I got there, but towards the end, I just started gaining on them quicker. I'm like, man, I might have a shot.
How much did the clean air help you there? Because obviously, as you were passing the cars, that was probably helping you more and more.
Yeah, it helped because once I kind of got some clean air, I think those guys had like a 2-second lead on me, probably a little more. So I think that kind of helped me because those guys were battling up there for a little bit before I actually started reeling them in.
Well, it was fun to watch, man. Well, congratulations. Like I said, it's your 5th win of in the season, or 5th win in the series. 5 wins in the season would be impressive too if you get to that point. But 5th win here of your career in this series. Of course, season 4 champion in Victory Lane already in the 2nd race here. Nice job. Send some shout outs.
Yeah, man, thank you. Shout out to Casey, dude. I mean, I love this league. I've been here since I don't even remember what season, but Robert brought me in, and it sucks. Mountain Man is not a team here anymore, so I'm just independent driver now, just having fun. And shout out to you. I mean, you're probably one of the best broadcasters, man. I enjoy going back watching the races, and everyone, and a lot of the guys in the league tonight, man. You guys race me hard, but race me fair, and that's what I love, and that's what I come out here to do. And yeah, dude, it was fun.
Absolutely. We'll see if you can do it again at Nashville next week.
Nashville Super Speedway.
Yes.
Oh, let's go. That's one of my favorites.
Well, there was a guy that won it on 2 tires last year, so.
Oh, yeah, no. I remember it.
He might bring that up this week. We'll see. But great job tonight, man. Congratulations on the win.
All right, man. Thank you. You have a good night.
You too, buddy. Matthew Weeks on the win here tonight as he goes to Victory Lane, puts Mountain Dew on the top spot. I don't know what channel he just went to, but he's going to get moved here in a second. Hate to do this to him. Oh, never mind. It worked out. What a great race, man. That was fun. I know it had, 7 cautions in the end, but we had numerous lead changes. And it was definitely a great fight tonight amongst a lot of great drivers. Let's see. Yeah, points are updated. So let's this will make Casey happy as I go grab the point standings here. So give me a second, and as gonna ramble here for a second, but obviously had a good long stretch of the race there where we saw some green flag racing. We had the early cautions and then had the cautions there at the end. But nonetheless, you saw 35 fantastic drivers get out here tonight and put on a show for 200 miles of racing. I said to peek at the time, make sure I don't miss that other race. And, yeah, like I said, did a great job in the race. Where is my... Okay, I guess it's going to set up here. But next week, Nashville Super Speedway. 1.3 mile race. I think that's going to be a lot of fun to keep track of when we get on track. Excuse me, next Friday night for 150 laps of racing. This is what they call stalling, by the way, in live TV and live radio and whatever else. Here's your points. I got them updated. Carrington leads over Zach Henry by 1 now. Mike Hamlin holds on there in 3rd. How about Austin Bloom up to the 4th position? Leslie Law falls down to 5th. Kyle Ethier, Lewis. Matthew Weeks jumps up 24 spots. J.W. Miller and Jake Fanoski are top 10 as you look down through 20th. Tim Abril there took a provisional tonight, so he'll fall to 20th in points, but still plenty of racing to go after this wild one here at the Chicagoland Speedway, as always living up to one of my favorite mile-and-a-half tracks. It's actually, believe it or not, my winningest mile-and-a-half track on the personal side. For some reason, I have the most league wins at this track out of them all. And I don't have many league wins, put it like that. So, all right, we're going to head out. Appreciate the All-American Cup Series for allowing me to be a part of the broadcast, of course, with Casey Carrington, Kyle Hall, all you guys there that put this series on. Joseph Penn for sitting there in the booth, calling the race admin-wise, doing a great job there. All the viewers for watching tonight, appreciate you guys as well. As I mentioned, I'm going to go jump in a car now and go race and go from there. But you guys enjoy. We'll see you next Friday night here from the Nashville Super Speedway. And as always, remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah.